Hey everyone, what's up? This is Ronnie coming to you today with a video. I'm gonna talk about a question which I get probably, I would say once a week on our videos, especially on the What Sold videos. We get a lot of these questions. Put my notes up right here so I can look at my notes, look at you, and talk about this a little bit. As most of y'all know, we sell higher end, mostly men's clothing, shoes, anything men's clothing, from ties, suits, pants, shoes, hats, even just whatever qualifies. Most of it's over $25 out. I mean, $25 per item is where the bottom of the barrel is for me for the most part. Till I mean, we average $64, I think, last year per item. Yeah, we averaged $64 per item sold last year, and we paid out an average of $8.50 for those items. So very good return. Yes, it's a little bit different, if you're used to getting your stuff at the bins and stuff like that. It's different. It's a different business model. It's a different, just a different way to do things. And this is how we do it. And some of these are just different ways you can do this. Some of the ways, these are some ways we've tried to do it, some ways we've done it for other people. And I'll tell you, I'll start off with the way that we mostly do it is thrift stores. Depending on where you live in the country, and I will get this a lot of, hey, you live in a certain area in the country, things must be better. And it's such a, uh, like a game of cat and mouse with the thrift stores because our area, we don't have a huge amount of thrift stores. You can look it up, go on Google right now, look up Goodwills in, Cape Cod. You're going to come up with one. The next one closest to us is an hour away in Quincy, Massachusetts. So Goodwill's not really all that great. It's not like we go into our store every day and find something. There's many multiple people looking for the same stuff we are. So that's part of the, it's kind of being at the right place, right time, willing to pay a certain amount, knowing a little bit more than somebody. Yes, we live in a great place, and maybe somewhere like West Virginia might not do that well, but I know people in other parts of the country in areas that don't do as great, and they find stuff. There's, you got to remember, there's people with money everywhere, and Cape Cod is not really the greatest place for people because we have more of a seasonal people. A lot of people go from Florida to Massachusetts a lot, and we're a lot of seasonal people here. So our thrift stores are really odd with what we get. And you got to remember, Salvation Armies, and all Salvation Armies work this way. I know people argue with me about this, and I believe Savers work this same way. Is their stuff goes from a hub, everything gets donated to this hub, and I think ours is in like Connecticut, and then they dis- distribute to a region. So it doesn't matter where you are, you could find good stuff. That's why I kind of like Salvation Armies. Goodwill, our Goodwill kind of does the same. Yes, they will. If they get a bunch of nice looking things that came in, guess what? That stuff is not going to the big store in Boston where they send a lot of that stuff to. It's going to get on the floor at our store. But you got to remember too, Cape Cod, Massachusetts, we're an hour from Boston, we're an hour from Providence. A lot of the people here are not wearing suits for work. There's not, unless you're a doctor or lawyer, not really gonna, you're not, it's a different thing. Boston, Providence, you're gonna do better. Um, you know, but anyway, making a long story short, we go to thrift stores. There's a lot of thrift stores. I went to 4 thrift stores the other day and found one item. It's a chance of going to many multiple stores, and this is where we spend more time sourcing than we do actually do listing and picture taking and stuff like that. I rather go out and hit 10, 12 stores in one day. And, I've tried to figure this business model out a little bit better with like hiring help and saying, okay, we're going to go and we're going to hire help and we're going to never got around to it because I didn't like the whole business plan of having someone else in charge of your business, but hitting 40, 50 stores in a week. Problem is we don't really have 40, 50 stores. If you went on, I think we have 10 or 12 Goodwills that maybe I could drive to in almost 2 hours. It's not a huge amount. So you spend a lot of time driving from place to place too. A lot of miles on your vehicle, a lot of gasoline being spent, a lot of time just chilling, listening to satellite radio, speeding around, which I do, and which I get a speeding ticket about once a year. My car insurance is ridiculous. Um, it's why I drive an SUV. I can't drive a sports car because yeah, if I had a Corvette or something like that. Oh baby, whew, be dangerous on the roads. But we get a lot more savers. Savers you got to pay up for. They have these stupid programs like spend $100, get 20% off, which is just garbage because their prices are even crazy. Goodwills, we have to go into Boston almost to get them, and it's like Boston, getting into Boston, getting out of Boston is chaos. So it's not like I've talked to Deb Pence and Pesos where she may have 30 or 40 just Goodwills in Austin. It's like, yo, how is that possible? Like, I'm super jealous of that right there. I don't think we have 30 if you combined in Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. I don't think there's 30 or 40. Like, it's crazy. Like, just crazy. And I think that part of that has to do with, I don't know what that has to do with price of real estate, price of space. Who knows? But, one way to do it, and I'm hoping this makes sense. And the first one I'm spending probably a little bit more time on than the others is because it is you know it is what we do. It's how we find stuff. So that is the thing. Going to thrift stores, just running out there, running around, going to a lot of stores. And it's kind of the thing of the more stores you hit, the better your chances are to find something good. If you're going to 2 or 3 stores every week, the same 2 or 3 stores, you're probably not going to have the greatest chances. You may have a store that stuff never even makes it to the floor because someone in the store buys it, another employee, maybe the manager. I've seen this happen with other stores. I've heard of it happening with our local stores, like where certain employees will have call up other employees or call up a spouse and they come and pick stuff up before it even hits the floor. So stuff walking out the back door, it happens. But depending on where you live, you could find good stuff. And there's other ways. We're going to get into the other ways now. Number two is a lot of the bigger eBay sellers. And a lot of ones you'll see like, oh, they have all these clothing and certain things, and you're like, oh my god. And you'll see like they don't live in an area that's all that great. They're like, oh, that's a weird area. Is they consign people consign stuff to them. Basically, they put it out there. Hey, we're selling, and send us your stuff. We'll split it 50-50, whatever percentage. Some have even better percentages. When we were talking about our RV thing for a while, we talked to a few different sellers. I got contacted by 4 or 5 people. Some had deals 50-50, others had 40-60 splits, and then went down to somebody who was willing to do like 25-75, which I thought was crazy. I'm like, how are you really making any money? But it's done on volume. They're not paying anything for the items, but they're getting stuff. They get into a thing of sending out business cards or sending out flyers, and advertising on um, different websites and stuff like that. So they get their name out there, or they advertise to the people that buy and sell from them. Hey, sell it back to us, or send it back to us when you're done and tired of it. We'll sell it for you again. So that's one. We've done a little bit of that in the past, not recently, and not a real big fan of it. But that's just our experience. Some people have good experience with it. We did not really have the greatest experience with it. Maybe I wasn't set up properly to handle it, but that is one way to look into it. It's basically like setting up a picker network where you're the top dog and you're sending out these thrifters or other people and looking for stuff for you, sending it to you, you're selling it, you're splitting the profits. Number three, and we do this quite often, and we really score probably 3 or 4 times a year, is estate sales. State sales, a lot of variables, just depending on where it is. We can go to 10, 12, 15 estate sales over maybe 2 months and just not really find anything. Either prices are really high, and I'm not one to go back like later days most of the time. I'm going in the first hour of a estate sale, if not being one of the first people in that door. Especially if it's for men's clothing. If I look and you go to like estatesales.net, look at your area, they have pictures, you can see companies, so on and so forth. I see something and I'm good with labels, I'm good with things. I could spot a Brioni button from a picture and be like, oh, I know what that is, and want to be there at that sale, you know, um, or recognize shoes just from the design of the shoes or a little bit of the shoe box. I know what it is. But you may get there and it may be like, well, we can get $100 for those shoes. You get there and the next thing you know, they're asking 60. Like, mm, not working out. So we kind of, you never know what estate sales. Get to know the companies. You got to go out there. You got to check them out. You know, um, and it's a little overwhelming at first because you may get to a sale and you're in line, and next thing you know, there's 30, 40 people in line to get in that place right in the bat. Make sure you have your bag, have your partner. My wife goes with me most of the time. I'll find stuff. We split and divide and conquer, which works best for us. And it's a thing. Or if we're going into if we know everything's in like one area, she'll hold this stuff for me, and I'll just be pulling stuff out of the closet, hand it to her. I'm a little bit wider. I'm a little bit bigger of a man. I can block a closet very well that only I'm in there. Good advantage. So I know someone's gonna make a shitty joke about that, but hey, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But then we got number four, and with estate sales, I mean, usually when we do really well, it's because of the prices are fairly cheap, and we can do really well because we can get a lot of stuff pretty cheap. The ones that we've done best with are the ones that we spotted stuff and they never talked about clothing. They never talked about clothing, but you'll see a picture of 30, 40 suits and you go, most likely someone buying that many suits, or they're not buying, for the most part anyway, they're not buying cheap suits. They're not going to Joseph A. Bank and buying 30 suits. Like, most of the time it's like a collection. People collect clothing. And if it's good clothing, you can get a lot of use out of it. A lot of people go for certain things. We've spent $300 and walked out with $500 to $1,000. Five, yeah, $5,000 to $10,000 of stuff. And it may take a year, 2 years to sell certain things. We just sold a Brioni sport coat that we had from a state sale almost 2 years ago, and because it was short in the sleeve length of the thing, it was returned a few different times. But we finally sold it. We paid $4 for it. Yeah, it took us a little while to sell for it, and we sold so much stuff out of that sale already. I think I still have one jacket left from that I'm gonna get like $300 plus. That's been returned twice also, but it's there. It's gonna happen. It's gonna sell. You're gonna make money. Estate sales, I love them. But like I said, there's drawbacks to everything. Being you could be the second person in line, the first person gets stuff, or the prices could be just more than you want to spend on things. You can't, you know, you just can't be lucky enough for everything. It's a bunch of different things that have to line up and play out. Number four, you could do clean outs and stuff like that. We used to offer, and this is where some of the consignment stuff came into. We used to do closet cleanouts and stuff like that. I mean, going back like 3, 4, 5 years ago. I don't think we ever really talked about it on our channel. We used to advertise on Craigslist. We used to have all these catchy tunes and stuff like that. But what's the words I want to use? But we never really had a great luck with it. But depending on where you are, and maybe it could work for you. That stuff can work. Number five, and this is we've had some really nice scores off of this, is Craigslist. And basically, it goes back to the other one. We put ads on Craigslist. I contact people that were selling. I might be seeing one really high-end item and be like, "Hey, I'm interested in buying this. Do you have any other thing?" Next thing you know, they have a whole closet of certain things, and we could usually work on a price. Our biggest one was a few years ago. I think it was 2014. We made a video about it. I think we spent like it was like $250 on a Chanel jacket that retailed for like 8. We sold that for like 500. There was also a Buccinelli Cacelli like cashmere and suede jacket that we sold for over 6 that we got. A Basia Bas Balenciaga bag, like Python bag. We got like 250 or 300 for that bag. A bunch of shoes like well, 4 or 5 pairs of shoes like Prada. It was Dolce and Gabbana, something Jimmy Choo boots, but we paid 250 for everything. We probably made $2,000 off of that, and yeah, you're paying a little bit per item because we probably paid. I think it was like 8 items. You're paying what's that? $33 an item or $31 an item. It's a little bit more, but you're paying for some higher quality stuff. And a few of the things took a little while to sell. I made a mistake by putting the Chanel jacket on auction. So be it. I probably should have sent that to someone else to consign for me because for whatever reason, just wasn't popping. We did sell it twice. And I think it was some trolls. We didn't do the automatic payment thing at the time, and it sold for like 3 grand. But technically, because of the age of it, it shouldn't have sold in that price. It was back when we used to do like high starting price and best offer, which we kind of got away from it. Maybe we should do that again. But but there's deals out there in Craigslist, but you got to look every day. Now there's also Facebook offer up Lego, so there's more sites available, but it's kind of hard because a lot of those sites offer shipping and stuff like that now. So, yeah. But number 6 is just your business card. Let people know what you buy. Like here, I have business cards for buying signs and stuff, and this happens quite often. But you see, business card, what I buy, and these work. I get calls quite regularly, and from people that sign. People get them and send them to somebody else. I have a friend that hands them out, a few friends that hand them out around Cape, and they actually work. I mean, it's weird how some of these cards get thrown around. I'll give a card to some guy in Falmouth, a friend. He does work for somebody in Boston. knows somebody has some signs and gives them the card. Next thing you know, the guy's calling me saying, "Hey, got some things you may be interested in. Let me do a deal." So it works in many different things. We had some for clothing before. I don't have them now, but maybe I'll do it again. But number 7 is consignment shops. Now you see these in most every major area will have these, and there'll be shops where people bring their stuff in to, and it's basically the same thing as putting your stuff on eBay, but they put it in a shop. They can ask a little bit more. We have some women shops here on the Cape, and we've bought stuff from them before, and they have markdowns. Like, kind of the best time to go, from my experience, is at the end of seasons. We've made some videos with some of the stuff we gotten in hauls from from these shops and stuff like that. Once again, you're paying up. Um, I remember like buying a really nice high end Ralph Lauren woman's jacket. I think we paid like $80. We sold it for like three something. Once again, you're paying up. It had like Indian print on it, Aztec design, whatever you want to call it. I think we picked up some Dale and Norway sweaters that they had on clearance for like 25 or something like that, and we got like 100 plus for them. But it's getting the seasonal stuff as they change over. Stuff sits in those stores usually a certain period of time, 3 months, 6 months, whatever the time is. They usually start to drop the prices. Almost all those stores, they'll have a little clearance area. You can go through them. Become friendly with the people that run the stores. I've heard people getting crazy deals. I've not, because I don't go. I don't really deal with women's clothing. I haven't found a men's shop around here. Maybe in Boston, but we're really. I'm not a big city person. I don't like going into Boston, so. Number 8, we've tried this several times. It hasn't worked. Maybe this will work for somebody else. Going to dry cleaners and looking for and look for people that have un what's the word I want to use, merchandise that basically hasn't been picked up. I think there's a certain amount of time they have to hold on to something, and then most of the time that stuff gets donated to a thrift store. Always happens that way. They just write it off, donate it. I've bunch of different times. I've talked to stores. We've even gotten into checking out a few stores back inventory. Problem was, even though we're on Cape Cod, the stuff that wasn't picked up wasn't really worth what I was thinking about paying. And basically, what I was willing to pay was how much money it costed to clean the item. So I think if it was a shirt, it was like, I'll pay $3 for a button front shirt. I'll pay $5 for a pair of pants. I'll pay $7 for a blazer or something like that. Just to get in the door and try to get them, instead of thinking, oh, I'm gonna donate my stuff there. But then when you look at it and it's like, oh, there's a um, Nautica shirt, club room shirt, just stuff that I was like, okay, this is not gonna work. Like, my whole plan of doing this with this guy, and you kind of burning your one shot, I think, on that, because it's like, like, you didn't buy anything. The guy gave you the time. You didn't buy anything. You know what I mean? But I went through 50 pieces of clothing, and not one of them I thought was worth my time in buying and selling. So I kind of burnt that out a little bit. You know, um, if it's higher end, who knows? Maybe there was some of the stuff that was higher end on your own. Here I am thinking I was going to go in there and I was going to find Tom Ford and Brioni and whatever, but instead I found Club Room and like Crop and Barrel or something. But it may work. You may be able to get that relationship with somebody. Maybe you could even do a 50-50 split with them over the stuff. Once again, no money, whatever it is. Hey, I can get rid of that stuff, and maybe it's worth your time to get you know inventory that way. Number 9 is another way we buy and sell a lot of stuff, is right back on eBay and other sites. Mostly eBay will use it just for right now. We go on eBay, we look for people with auctions and so on and so forth, and buy stuff off of people and what we think is a good value. The problem is, tell you the truth, a lot of sellers, they suck. They do not disclose flaws in the items and stuff like that. I mean, I've seen people where they say, "Oh, it's excellent condition," then you're looking at the pictures and they don't describe any of the issues. If you're not looking fast enough, if you're looking on your phone, like you'll see the armpits ripped out. There's little tears in the lining. How is it excellent condition? I understand there's no holes, but the lining needs repair, and you know, eventually the jacket's going to become unwearable. You replace the liner, which is not cheap on a jacket. You know, I've seen shirts, and this happens a lot with whenever we buy French cuff shirts, that there's wear on the inside where the cuff would be folded. It's either worn or dirty, even though it's been dry cleaned. And I don't think it's just people don't look and think about it. They never to look. They just take a picture of the item. And they go, "Oh, it's French cuff shirt," and then you show it to them. And I always get this same thing. Everybody is thinking you're out to screw them. Everybody. It's like I bought your item for $6. Like, how am I out to screw you? Look at the print of the shirt. It's the same shirt. Like, stop fighting with me. Don't make me have to go to eBay to open the damn thing. You know, I did something for $6. Like, don't make me jump through hoops to get my $6 back from you. Like, come on, stop it. Just send me that $6. Don't fight. I'm waiting for the day that I contact somebody and then they're gonna post a post on one of the groups I run and they're gonna be like, "Hey, this person's trying to screw me," and I'm gonna go, "No, no, 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 no. I ain't trying to screw you. You're just not doing it right." You know, like you see it happen so many buyers. But eBay's a good place to buy. There's a lot of people that you can buy off of, but you really have to be picky. You really have to really pay attention, and you got to be willing to spend up on money. I mean, there's things we bought. I'm trying to think of something we bought. We bought a Brioni suit. I think we paid like $80 for it. We sold it for $500, and I think I sold that one in one day of listing. That was one of them that I could think off the top of my head. You know, I think we picked up like a Brooks Brothers blazer. I think we got it for like $12, and we sold it for like $80 in a day or something. Those are the ones that stick out because it's real fast flips, and it's like, oh wow, you know, how did that happen? But it's really nice. Number 10, Wayne, we've talked about this for about 5 years now, maybe six. Going to Marshalls, TJ Maxx, stores like Ross, Burlington. Once again, you're buying stuff, you're paying a little bit more, but also if you go to certain times a year they have like what they call the yellow tag thing, which is basically their semi-annual clearance of like just moving everything out. And over like a 3 period time, they'll mark stuff down, including the last day. They just start marking down things every day, and you'll see it because they have the yellow. They change the tags from the red typical clearance, and they start putting yellow clearance on them, yellow clearance tags. You can get some good deals. I do a lot better with the winter one because winter gear costs more. You're getting jackets, sweaters, suits, and I mean suits can be mixed in any time of season, but more with the winter wear, winter jackets. Problem is you're getting it at the end of a season, so sometimes you may have to sit on it 6 months before they start to move and sell and stuff like that. You know, the same thing at the end of summer they do it. You're getting a lot of more swim trunks, shorts, bathing suits, so on and so forth. But you know what? It's always summer or winter somewhere in the world. If you offer an international shipping, it will sell. So I mean, these are 10 ways that you could really source higher dollar items or even have the chance to find it. Like I said, we do number one. That's the one we do most. But hey, Oh my god. Everybody messaging me when I started making this video. But anyway, my wife is bothering me, Chad's bothering me, everybody. But like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys later. I'm gonna try to make more videos. If you have any video ideas down below, hit them down below. I have a list of videos that been lifted on my and left on my left for us to make, and we're gonna make those too. But see you later. Have a good day. Like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell to get more videos like this. See you later.